Welcome to the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast, where we break down Bendis' iconic run on Ultimate Spider-Man, issues 1 through 160 in Earth 1610. I'm Zach, and I'm joined, as always, by a golf ball's worst nightmare, Johnny O.
What's up? More like a house on a golf course's worst nightmare.
Hey, they knew the risk.
Yep. What's up? How's your week been?
Oh, I can't lie, man. It's been pretty shitty.
Dude, I'm going to come in here and do some complaining, too.
You don't know it yet, but
I've had a shitty week also.
Yeah. I bet mine is shittier than yours.
I bet it's not, but
Ooh.
But go on.
The shitty Olympics. I love it. Okay, so
I mean, it probably is. You know, yours probably is.
Yeah.
So go on.
So do you remember a few weeks back when I was complaining about a smell in my crawl space?
Uh-oh. It's mold.
It's worse than mold. We figured out my house is from like the 70s and has clay pipes, and there was like 5 breaks in them, and all of our sewage was spilling into the crawl space of the house.
So quite shitty.
Yes, that was my joke that you didn't get until
what's funny is I was making the same joke because mine has been literally kind of also. So here I thought I was going to get you with that, and you got me with it even more.
Wow, great minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
great minds and great podcast hosts.
This is what they come for.
Okay, so you got 5 broken pipes.
5 holes in the same sewage pipe. Okay. So, and then they found out that there was a gas leak also. Because a few months ago, I got down in there with my dad trying to figure out what was going on, and we couldn't figure it out. And
that's some real father-son bonding right there.
Yeah, we must have hit a gas line. Made it worse.
That's funny. Now that's some father-son bonding.
And the craziest thing, so we're living in an Airbnb now that's a few minutes away. The last night I spent in the house,
no, you aren't. I can see you. You're in the same room as normal.
I came back just for this.
So you're like suffering gas poisoning here doing this podcast?
No, we got it fixed now. So we got the gas leak fixed, and some guys came
because I can see the cats are in the house.
Oh yeah, the cats never left. We got the gas leak fixed, and some guys came yesterday and vacuumed up all of the sewage, but the pipe still isn't fixed, so we can't run water here. So we're living out of an Airbnb, and the last night that we were in the house, I was like, God, this smells so bad. And I didn't know about the gas leak. And so what do you do when your house smells terrible and it's time to go to bed? You light a candle right next to your bed. I literally burned a candle next to my bed the entire night with a gas leak in my house that I didn't know about.
Oh, interesting. I wonder...
So this podcast almost ended very abruptly.
I wonder what the gas like ratio in the air would have needed it to be to light. Did you do any research on this after you figured it out? Did you find out how close you were to death?
No, and I don't think Shyla has put those pieces together, and I'm not telling her that I almost blew us up.
Wow. That would have been really sad.
Yeah. So
that is a pretty shitty week.
Yeah,
mine is not going to seem that bad comparatively. But as I was telling Zach a little bit before we hopped on, one of my cats is just like insanely like going through like a sickness. Not that's like making him. He just has a really bad UTI and he's or trying to everywhere. You know, he's got a UTI and it's really bad, but he's not. The food's making it worse, and the expensive food he's not eating, and he's throwing up. And I'm just walking room to room, like with a carpet cleaner and a spray, just cleaning up either vomit or pee constantly. And then the vet said that his pee, when they tested it, she was like, "It's crap." I mean, it's bad, but also it's like crap. It's like the consistency of crap. So that's what I meant when I was like having a shitty week. And listeners, I'm giving him medicine. I'm not a neglectful pet owner, but it's just not getting worse, or it's not getting better.
Yeah.
But hopefully when he starts eating his expensive new prescription food, if he ever does, it will get better.
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
Yep. So take it out if you want, Zach.
All right.
But I love to complain.
I feel like I need to tie all of this complaining back to Spider-Man somehow, so I'll just end it and say, that's the Parker luck for you.
Well, and for you too, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, both of us had a very Parker luck week.
Well, Webheads, hopefully your weeks have been... Who's a lucky person in Spider-Man?
There's got to be one Webhead that had a parlay hit this week or won the lottery.
Oh my gosh! And I had a pretty nice bet on Jordan Mason's rushing over in that Thursday night game. And boy, just talk about a slam spot and a good call. And he gets injured and leaves, in the first half with like 73 rushing yards. I only needed him to get to 81. It was just brutal.
I had another sort of fantasy mishap this week as well. This was just, the icing on the cake. But I was at work and I saw a trade offer come through. And I was just kind of half looking at it. And it was like a 2027 first round pick for Trey McBride. And I thought this was in the main Dynasty League. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll take Trey McBride for a pick that's 3 years from now. I don't care. Let's do this. Send it. And then after I accepted, I realized this was a side league where I was the one giving up Trey McBride.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah.
That's just sleeper for you, Zach.
It betrayed me this time.
Yep. Oh, well, that stinks. But also not that big of a deal. Now you get a 2027 first round pick. That seems good too.
Yeah, that'll help in 3 years if the league is still going.
Okay. Anything else? Should we get into it?
Yeah, I think let's get into it. Let's send it over to our sponsor, Vet Bills.
Every business says they're better, but the ones that earn and display the BBB seal back it up. It instantly identifies businesses that are committed to operating with integrity, honoring promises, and telling the truth. Makes you wonder why every business doesn't have it. So look for it, because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
And we're back. Getting into...
My vet says I might have to put baby Billy on Prozac for the rest of his life.
Oh, it's that
because
bad?
She says like stress and anxiety can contribute to UTIs. Like they're like they can like cause inflammation and stuff. And she's like, yeah, I mean, if it doesn't get better, he might just have to be on Prozac like for the rest of his life. And I'm just like, what? How can we not
have to be stressed
about? Dude, literally, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, in my head, she's telling me this. I'm like, oh, fucking so sorry for baby Billy. He's costing me like hundreds of dollars in vet bills every week, and I'm constantly cleaning up piss everywhere. But poor baby Billy has so much to stress about.
Yeah. I wonder what his inner thoughts are. Like, is he looking out a window and he's like, sees an outdoor cat and he's like, why can't I be free,
Dude,
Father?
Maybe, please go outside. Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Right.
Spider-Man.
Yep. We're getting into Ultimate Spider-Man 3 or Ultimate Spider-Man 136 if you're an adult. This one's written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by David LaFuente, colored by Justin Ponzer, and lettered by VC's Corey Petit. And John told me that he wants to do this first panel.
Yep. I had so much fun doing a Trump impression last week.
You'll never unhear it now.
When I saw this first panel of Mysterio, and he's kind of like doing the same speech we saw him do before, I just felt I had to recap it again. Okay.
A bit so nice we have to do it twice.
Okay, I'm going to try my best, everyone. Get the hands. Okay. Here, I'm perched forward at an absurd degree, so my center of gravity is insane. No more Wilson Fisk. Crooked Wilson. Big boy Fisk. Not all of him's big. Not every part. That's just what I've heard. That's what they say. One part, not so big. You don't have to say thank you. You can say thank you for me. You don't have to, though. That's an actual line.
That's really in the comic.
See, I used to be like him, Wilson Fisk. I saw the pie. I wanted it. I got it. But something. Anyway, I just wanted to do the part about Crooked Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Thanks, man.
Blew my Trump impression out of the water. My Trump impression that I had never practiced before and went wildly unhinged very early.
Nope. It was great.
All right. So the student broadcasting AV club at Midtown High is watching this Mysterio speech on their computer. And Jessica Jones says, creepy. And MJ says, he's certainly trying to be. She's not impressed. She's seen scarier guys than this. And Jessica,
not scary at all.
I know. Jessica asks MJ if she wants to cover the story, and MJ's like, why? How does it relate to the school? And Jessica says, well, it involves a big Spider-Man villain, and Spider-Man goes here. And MJ acts like, well, maybe he doesn't. And Jessica says, no, he does. She's pretty certain. And Jessica says she's not trying to out Spider-Man anymore. That was her goal last year. But now he's a hero and she wants to support him. And she stands pretty close to MJ and says, if I wanted to out the guy, there's a lot of stones I could kick over in trying to do so. Trust me. And there's a silence before MJ turns to leave, and it almost feels like some kind of subtext, like Jessica Jones has figured it out, or figured out she's gotten close enough to know that MJ has some connection to Spider-Man.
Yeah, definitely. I don't like this new MJ. I don't like the way she looks. I don't like how timid she seems.
Yeah.
Like last issue, you were talking about, was it Kitty that was yelling at her? And I was like, seems like MJ's being pretty timid, this is what she's doing to Jessica Jones also.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did say, I think last week, they put her in glasses for some reason that she's never needed. And I realized after the fact, there was some reference. Do you remember the terrible issue where it did a flashback where she was dating Harry a year ago, and she was wearing glasses and he's like, take them off, you look sexy without them, and she's like, I look sexy with them too. So I kind of like the idea of she has actually needed glasses all along, but she just wasn't confident enough to wear them. But then, like you said, she doesn't seem confident at all here now, so that kind of muddies the message.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care for it either. It feels like we've kind of lost the MJ that we had for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so she goes to leave, and Jessica says, it's a big story. He's a hero. And MJ just says, not to everyone, as she leaves. And that's kind of interesting because we still don't know what her deal is with Peter at this point.
Yeah. She's being weird.
And we cut to the Parker home where May is sitting at the kitchen table with Johnny Storm. And this was the big cliffhanger we left off on last week. What crazy stuff is going to get said? Is there going to be some big reveal? And she asks him where he's been. And he says that his dad died in Ultimatum and he packed a bag and went to Italy. And she's like, oh, you were in shock. And Johnny kind of feels guilty, like he should have been able to handle things better because he's a superhero. And May reminds him that he's also just a kid.
Wasn't Johnny Storm was the one that was like in whoever the guy, Dormammu's like medallion?
Yes.
Right? What happened there?
We never found out.
But surely you know, right?
I am certain it got resolved in Ultimate Fantastic Four, but I didn't even care to read it.
How do you not look these things up?
This is a Spider-Man podcast, John.
But you've had like 15 years of reading these stories. I would think that at some point you've been like, oh yeah, why was Johnny in Dormammu's medallion?
Here's the thing. Sometimes I do go back and try and figure stuff out like that, but I don't like Ultimatum. So why would I try and read more Ultimatum to make it make sense?
Okay. I'd go to the Wikia.
Okay. Do you want to?
No, I don't care that much.
Okay. See, I'm the same. And he says when he got back to New York, the sight of the Baxter building made him so sick, he went to find Peter because they're friends. And May tells him that she had to leave her old house after her husband was killed in it last year. So they're just kind of like trauma bonding right now. And it's kind of sweet. And May asks Johnny if he has any family left. He's like, yeah, my sister Sue. And she's like, does she know that you're all right? And Johnny's like, no, I haven't talked to her. And she goes, you really need to call her. And Johnny's like, hey, where's Peter? And May says, knowing him, doing something spectacular. And this is the second time in the past 2 weeks that we've gotten this kind of tease and then reveal where we think Peter is doing some big things, and then it turns out he's just at the Burger Frog.
Yeah.
And he's got his silly little Kermit hat on. Mm-hmm. And he's...
Do you want to hear about Johnny Storm and Dormammu?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, Dormammu captured Johnny Storm because he thought Johnny Storm... I don't know how, right? I didn't find that part out. Because he thought Johnny Storm would be able... His fire powers would fuel him enough to be free of whatever captivity he was in. And then... After he killed Doctor Strange, then Sue Storm and Ben Grimm show up, and Dormammu's defeated after Sue seals his entire head with her force field, and then he gets overwhelmed by Johnny Storm's power, turning him into a powerless human being. And it is assumed that Dormammu was simply a human being all along, using some sort of technology or magic to give him the appearance of a demon. That's pretty good.
Sweet. I hate it.
Well, I think it's good.
Okay. The evil demon that's so powerful, if he ever gets to our dimension, we're screwed, is just a guy.
He's just a guy.
Love it. Wow. Deep.
I like it because it instills in me that all of us have that inner power. You know?
Yeah.
We could all become gods or demons if only we want to enough. Maybe that's the message that the writers of Ultimatum were trying to instill.
Yeah, I bet they spent a really long time honing their message and making sure, they eloquated it right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Peter is at the Burger Frog. He's got his silly little Kermit hat on, and he's sleeping on the job. He's leaning on his hand, and his elbows resting on the counter. And there's ladies trying to order their food, and they're like, hello? And his manager comes up in his ear and yells, Peter! And Peter jolts awake, and he's like, do you want fries with that? And I'm guessing this is because he's, like, so tired from Spider-Manning at night that he hasn't slept or whatever.
Yeah, doesn't he say he was, like, up all night fighting the twins or something? Or the mom-daughter duo.
Yeah, which I don't think was at night, but whatever.
It wasn't.
It was in broad daylight.
Oh, wait, no, I think he says he, like, did that during lunch or something.
We saw him leave lunch Because he was having a picnic on the roof with Gwen.
Honestly, sometimes I get a full 8 hours and I still fall asleep at my job. So,
That's true.
Work sucks. Okay. Blink 182. All the small things.
Yeah. They said that.
Yeah. Might be the jam of the week.
Yeah. She left me roses by the stairs.
What's the thing? What's my favorite line of that? It's like, commiserating.
That's got to be the biggest word Tom DeLonge knows.
Okay, sorry to take us off on a tangent.
Okay. Well, Blink-182 tangents are always welcome in my mind.
Yeah.
The manager tells Peter to go on break and splash some water in his face to wake up. And Peter kind of walks out of the Burger Frog, disoriented, carrying a soda, and runs right into Mary Jane, spilling it all over her blouse.
Will you look at the panel of the manager yelling at Peter?
He's like spitting.
Is that what that is? It's like I don't know. Is it like gum coming out of his mouth?
Yeah, it looks like Tic Tacs or something, but I think it's
that's what it looks like. Wow. This manager sucks.
Peter has like Morty eyes in that panel.
Oh, jeez. Zach, you can do a really good Morty impression.
I don't know if I should be offended by that. Oh, gee, man, I'm sorry. Let me just take that order and then go on my break, okay? Did that work?
That was pretty good.
Okay.
I've heard you do better, but that was pretty good.
Have I done a Morty impression?
Definitely.
Oh. I didn't realize. On the pod?
I bet you have.
Okay. I'll have to work on it for the next time it comes up. All right. So he runs into Mary Jane and she's like, well, that's just great, Peter. And they kind of start.
He spills a soda all over her.
Yeah.
Darn it.
Yeah. And I'm just going to read these panels. John, would you mind doing a dramatic reading with me?
I'd love to.
Who do you want to be, Mary Jane or Peter?
I think I'd rather be Mary Jane.
Okay.
You're
prettier than me, so that makes sense.
That's true.
Okay. We're going to start on panel 3.
Okay.
Mary Jane says...
Yep, I got it. Yep. Okay. Sorry. I have to put myself in character.
Okay.
I'm what you'd call a thespian.
Are you going to pitch your voice up?
No, I'm not going to do that. But, okay. I'm talking to someone I don't really like, but I'm also in love with. And, they just spilled stuff all over me, and I'm in a hurry, and, okay. Why are you even working here?
I needed a job. The newspaper folded.
And this is the best you could do?
It's the best you could do.
Yeah, but you have real...
I haven't figured out a way to pay for that yet.
Well, this has been nice catching up.
So what? You totally hate me?
Not totally, but I'm almost there.
Well, I'm not mad at you.
I didn't do anything to you.
You broke up with me!
And you immediately started seeing Gwen! Mic check. Sorry.
Oh, you know about that?
Everybody knows about it, you jerk!
You broke up with me!
It's gross. I thought you guys were like brother and sister.
No.
You always said...
I never said that. Yeah, she lives in my house, but...
Whatever.
And I didn't go running to her as soon as you broke up with me. It was actually months later.
Says you.
Months.
Whatever.
You brought it up, so obviously it is whatever.
I just would have appreciated the heads up.
Fine, return a call.
You haven't called me in months.
When you didn't return the first 10 calls, I got the hint that maybe you weren't interested in talking to me. Friend.
Pal.
Pal. I say pal.
Oh. Well, you two enjoy each other. She's gross and you're gross.
Enjoy being the queen of Crazy Town. Oh, and if you ever feel like telling me why we broke up... And Mary Jane walks off.
Pretty dramatic.
Oh, yeah. That was 2 pages. That was That was kind of fun. John, a while ago you said you were sick of all the, boyfriend girlfriend drama and who likes who, and
Well,
this is the point in the series where I get to that, because like the last time Peter and MJ got back together, it felt earned. It felt like they were in a good spot. It felt like they had figured out their issues. And now we're just like, what the hell are they even talking about, and why does this matter? Because, you feel like they're eventually going to get back together, and at this point, we've just done this dance too many times.
I thought this was fun. I thought it's kind of interesting because you said last week they're like brother and sister. They've said that over and over again. And, obviously Mary Jane remembers that too.
Well, I feel like this had to be Bendis addressing that, because how could he not? And
well, he doesn't really address it.
Well,
he's just like, I never said that.
he is.
It's kind of funny having the writer write. I never said that.
He's saying
something he clearly said.
He's saying, don't worry about that. I mean, he knows. It's not lost on him that he wrote that. He doesn't forget writing that. I think this is him.
Well, they're also
acknowledging it.
They're also not actually brother and sister.
They are not.
Right.
But once you say that about someone, then it is a weird dynamic when you start dating.
Yeah, they're kids.
Whether it's true or not.
They're kids.
They're kids.
They love each other as friends. Then they
make out.
Then they want to make out with each other. It happens.
I guess. You're right that they are not literally brother and sister. We're not saying that they ever were.
And Gwen is, for a 15-year-old Peter, Gwen's probably looking pretty good. So,
I mean, yeah, he only knows beautiful girls.
Yeah.
Also,
but this is also interesting because Mary Jane broke up with him.
Right.
And then he starts seeing Gwen months later. But she's the one that's all pissy about it.
Yeah.
Women be crazy.
I wonder if that's the subtext. I think that's what we're supposed to take away from this.
Well, she literally gets called the mayor of Crazy Town.
I wanted to bring that up with you. Did you remember
the queen of Crazy Town?
Yes. So she's the queen. Kitty is the new sheriff of Crazy Town. I cannot wait for what we find out Gwen's job is going to be at the Crazy Town. Is she like a judge? Is she the superintendent of Crazy Town? I just love this notion that Peter has this little fictional village of all the women that he likes to gaslight, and they all have little jobs in Crazy Town.
Peter's not gaslighting anyone.
She's
gaslighting him. She's like making him seem like he did something wrong.
I mean, yeah, neither of them are in the right, but calling multiple women the something of Crazy Town is kind of toxic masculine behavior.
Oh, shut up.
But I love it because it's funny. Okay. So Peter's like, now I'm awake. Wonder what's next for me. And we turn the page and we cut to Manhattan, which is being overrun by giant tarantulas. And people are running in a panic and they're like, why is it always this city? And cops are trying to shoot the spiders and it's not working. And Peter has spideyed up and swung over there and he jumps down to try and talk to the cops. But they perceive him as a giant talking red and blue spider and start trying to shoot him.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yep.
Dude, I was like, oh, there's a big red and blue spider. That must have something to do with Spider-Man. Like, I was thinking, like, these spiders were, like, chemically, like, like we're always doing clone stuff with Peter. So okay. Gosh, I'm glad you're here.
Glad I could help. So he dodges the bullets and starts trying to web and fight the tarantulas, but they seem to be intangible. And we cut to the Federal Reserve, where Mysterio walks right past some guards who are crying on the ground. He walks into a gold vault and starts stealing all the gold. And
Gosh, if he didn't look so stupid, this would just be awesome. But he does.
Unfortunate.
Why can't he have like his green and purple and his fishbowl on his head like Mysterio?
Honestly, it would have been really cool if he just took the place of the Kingpin, and it looked like this was Kingpin doing this.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
People would be like, Mr. Fisk, why did you all of a sudden start talking like Donald Trump? And Mysterio, he's kind of patting himself on the back. He's like, I am so smart. This is great. I'm going to get away with this. And Spider-Man comes in and kicks him in the back of the head. And he says he figured it out. Mysterio sprayed the neighborhood with some kind of fear agent so he could rob the place. And it's very Scooby-Doo. It's like he, gosh, you thwarted my plans, you stupid kids.
This is good thinking by Spider-Man.
It is. I like how smart it shows him to be.
Yeah.
And Mysterio starts complaining that Spider-Man ruined everything and that planning this took weeks of his life. Weeks! He's really mad about the weeks of his life that this wasted, and I think that's funny. And he says, you and me, kid, now it's on, and he vanishes. He's kind of a fun, campy villain, which we haven't had in this series.
That's why he just needs to look more like fun and campy.
Right. Yeah, I get it. The classic fishbowl would really lean into this.
Yeah. I'll stop mentioning it.
No, you're good. I'm on board with you now. I agree that would fit his tone better. But this is Ultimate, so he's got to be a flaming head.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. That reminds me of that Batman thing that we were talking about a little bit in like the fantasy league. And just a couple days before that, I saw like a YouTube video pop up, and I like meant to watch it, but it was that Batman, and man, his logo looks so stupid. I mean, it's just big. It's just a big rectangle block. I love it.
I love it too.
And it said something like the most, it didn't say like hardcore, but it was some synonym that was like there, the most blank Batman ever. And it was like a picture of him, and it's like a 20-minute video essay. And I'm like, I can't wait to watch this. And then I just forgot.
He's just a big mass of a man. He's just huge.
This ain't your grandpa's Batman. This one kills, probably.
Yeah. Well, he definitely de-limbs people.
Good.
It feels like there's some kind of inside joke there where I'm sure like the Adam West Batman had a villain say, unhand me or something. And then this is the one that's like, yes.
Poor choice of words.
An axe. Yeah. I feel like his big bat logo. Have you seen like metal band logos and they just use the most illegible font and it's all scribbles and scrapes? His is like the superhero equivalent of that. It's so endearing.
We should read that.
We're going to. I mean, I'm going to if I can find a place where it's not sold out.
Okay.
That's probably what's going to get me into DC. All right, so Mysterio has vanished, and so have all the illusions of tarantulas that he was generating. And the cops show up to find Spider-Man standing alone next to a van half full of gold bricks. And Peter says, this isn't what it looks like. And God, dude, this is like one moment where I just don't understand the creative choice that Bendis made, because it feels like that has set up so well for a good transition on the next page to something that we get a little later. And by holding off on it, it feels like they killed the joke, because this could be very funny. Spider-Man standing next to these gold bricks in a van, looking guilty as hell, and says, this isn't what it looks like. And then if you just follow up on that and show us what happens next, I feel like the scene is funnier.
Yeah.
But instead, we cut to the Parker house where Gwen and Aunt May are watching through the window as Johnny Storm talks with his sister Sue on the sidewalk. Really unnecessary pacing. I don't like that little cut to that one page.
Yeah, especially because now they're going to cut back to what you were talking about for one page, and then they cut immediately back to the Parker house. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense. These 2 pages should have been switched.
Yeah. So then we see the news story of Spider-Man posing with the cops, and they're all smiling, and the gold bricks are in the background, and the headline is, Spider-Man stops massive gold heist. Mysterio to blame. And we see that it's Mysterio in his lair who's reading the story and frowning about it, which again feels very Trump to me. Mm-hmm. Mysterio would be the guy who stays up all night watching Fox News to hear what they're saying about him.
Yep.
And he's about to fire off a tweet about the negative press covfefe.
Yeah.
But it's so different to us. It still, doesn't feel real when Spider-Man is caught in the most compromising position, but the cops just have infinite faith in him now. That they believe him when he says, I know these were spiders, and I know this looks bad on me, but trust me, there was just a guy here who disappeared who really was the one stealing this gold. And they buy it.
Well, they should, though.
I mean, it's the truth, but
yeah,
he has no proof.
Yeah.
And we can tell Mysterio is pretty mad reading this story. And Peter gets home that night and sees Sue Storm leaving his front door. And he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And she hugs him and says, keep an eye on him. He looks up to you. And Peter is confused. And she says, if you ever need anything, just let me know. I'm just on the other...
Yeah, sorry, go, keep going. And then I have to talk about Sue Storm.
Okay. She says, if you ever need anything, just let me know. I'm just on the other side of the bridge. And Peter asks what's going on, and Sue doesn't answer him. She just gets in a car and drives away.
So, Sue Storm is the person who the maker proposed to, right? I'm like getting all these characters right. So, what's happening with her and Reed Richards during this time?
So,
I mean, she seems younger than she should be.
She is younger than she should be, but she's older than Peter. She's
she's old enough to... How old's Reed Richards?
I think the two of them are like maybe 20, 21.
Oh, that's too young.
It is very young.
Yeah. Reed
I think those characters work
at that age.
Yeah, I think those characters work better as anywhere from like late 30s to early 50s.
Okay, so what's Reed up to right now?
So after Ultimatum, the Fantastic Four broke up.
Oh, darn it.
Team, and she broke up with him. She turned down his proposal.
And then what?
Well, like anyone would do, he fumbled a bad and became the greatest supervillain of all time.
So what's he doing right now? Is he in the Baxter building? Is he in another universe?
We don't know.
He's making his head really big. Somehow.
This is stuff that we will cover eventually, but I don't think is being answered in the comics right now.
Okay.
There's just not an Ultimate Fantastic Four book. Whatever these characters are up to is whatever they're up to specifically when they appear in other people's books, like they're doing right now.
Okay.
And so Peter's confused. Sue has walked away. She didn't give him any answers. He walks into his house, and Johnny says, hey, new baby brother, guess who lives here now? Here's a hint. He's awesome, and he lights on fire. Okay. It's me. I live here now. And Aunt May and Gwen are standing around Johnny, and they're just kind of smiling. And Johnny is about to hug Peter, and he looks very silly. He's in, like, bell-bottom jeans and a tight Fred from Scooby-Doo shirt.
I think he looks very silly, too, but I wasn't going to say anything about his bell-bottom jeans.
It's just a sitcom ending.
It is.
You can hear the canned applause.
Yep. So that's what this comic book run is now. It's just like sitcom Spider-Man, huh?
I guess you say that. I get a hint that that's something you don't like.
Well, it's like, oh, we're doing that show, Spider-Man and Friends.
Yeah.
What are we going to get up to this week?
Who are we going to clap for when they walk into the room?
Okay, so what do we think of this issue?
I still think they're stumbling out of the gate with this relaunch. Like I said, there's just some technical things that I think are a little clunky. I liked, as fun as the scene that we read together was, just as like a bickering argument goes, I'm so over that as a plot beat, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, and Mysterio just seems like such a joke of a villain. I mean, he's campy, but he's not really a threat to Spider-Man at the moment. And I felt like this just kind of meandered towards any bigger plot that they might be working towards. And I gave it a 6 out of 10 residents of Crazy Town.
Okay. I think I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10 residents of Crazy Town. Because, I don't know. I do kind of like Mysterio. I just don't like the way he looks.
He has like
but
a
I like
very
his
particular
goofy Trump
charm.
speeches. And I like the hologram stuff, you know. And that's kind of, I liked how Peter like sniffed his plan out.
Yeah.
And knew someone was like robbing the bank when he shouldn't, you know. That's pretty good. So yeah.
Not to give us too much credit, but I think he's fun because we're making him fun.
I'm a big Mysterio fanboy. You know, I love me the Jake Gyllenhaal version.
Sure.
That was like in my top 3 Spider-Man movies, I think.
Yeah.
And I remember that episode of the animated Spider-Man where Mysterio robs the bank. So maybe I was getting some nostalgia here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I wonder,
if his head had come off his body and turned into a basketball, I would have clapped like a seal.
Does that happen in the animated series?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
He like
it's been a while since I watched
and
it.
His head's a basketball, and it just rolls to like Spider-Man, who picks it up. I think
that's
like,
sick.
What?
And then dunks it.
And then he posterizes the chief of police. Okay, so 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. That's not bad. That's fine. Okay,
right.
Next issue. Issue 4 or issue 137.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm really starting to miss one of our main core cast members. We haven't seen him in a minute. I wonder if the Hulk will show up in this one.
I like forgot for a second. Okay, so looking at the cover of this, I can see La Fuente's signature in it. Is that something that we got with Bagley or Immonen?
I know it's not something Bagley was doing. I can't remember if Immonen signed the cover pages. It's not uncommon, though.
I don't think I'd like that. You're just gonna start writing on like the 133rd issue of a run, and all of a sudden we're gonna start putting our autographs onto the cover pages.
Yeah, it's not uncommon in any.
I figured
art.
It's not, but we'll see.
Okay, this
I
is
just
a cool
love
cover,
to
though.
complain.
I know. This is your only outlet to do it.
Yep. So this cover, it actually is. It's I like it. We got our little masked Assassin's Creed guy who I still think potentially is just like a stone person underneath his outfit. Isn't that kind of what we saw? Like his arms were like made of metal or stone or something.
We saw like a
and
metal...
the bullets and the gun were just like going off his face. So I don't know. He's got something going on with him.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah. So, written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by David LaFuente, colored by Justin Ponzer, lettered by VC's Corey Petit. And don't we usually do another one? Anyway.
It's the same creative team as mine.
Yeah. So, MJ is getting ready to leave work. And is she working at Corn Dog on a Stick?
Yes. So, she works at Corn Dog on a Stick. He works at Burger Frog. But they're both in the food court.
So she's leaving her job at the end of a long day, and all of a sudden her manager, who in relation looks like an adult man, comes running up to her. And he says, "Wait, MJ, hey, wait up." And I knew where this was going just right away. I was like, why is this adult man going to ask MJ out on a date? And he's like, "Hey, I maybe overheard you talking about, you and your boyfriend broke up, and oh gosh, gee, I just think you're great and you're so pretty, and I was just wondering." And MJ's like, "Brad, you're in college. I'm in high school." And of course, as I've already alluded to, I was immediately like, "Oh, okay, good. He's only in college." Because am I wrong?
I mean, that's still, if she's 15, he still shouldn't be hitting on her, but he looks fully 40
I guess I was
years
just
old.
immediately my mind went to like, she's a senior, he's like a freshman. I guess it's just immediately but you're right. Well, we don't know how old they are. It's been like a year. Did the series start when they were 15? So they're probably 16 now.
The passage of time is so weird in comics.
Zach, it's so weird in real life also. Man.
Yeah. I mean, we heard May tell Johnny last episode, "Yeah, my husband Ben died last year."
That was a year ago. Yeah, exactly.
But then we also just got a 6-month time jump. So are we believing that
All of
130
that happened in
issues?
6 months?
Yeah. So
No.
I take it to, I believe they are 15 until
Peter
we're
would
told
really
otherwise.
be jumping back and forth between these women if all of that happened in like 6 months.
Right?
That's messed up, dude.
And he took several months off before he started dating Gwen, apparently.
Well, at that point, it's been a year. I meant in the first 6 months.
Oh, yeah, I
Right.
got you.
So, as this king is about to get a date, a group of thugs drive up, and one of them sticks his head out the window with a gun, and he's like, "Come on, baby, get in the car." and the guy's like, "Hey, we're having a conversation." And then the thug shows his gun, and he's like, "Buddy, you should just take a walk." And the guy immediately just turns and sprints away.
What a prince. He
Gosh.
knows his worth.
This is a really difficult call because, oh man, golly, Zach, it's.
Oh, gee, Rick, we're sure in a predicament here.
I don't want to get shot by a random guy who just drove up and stuck his head out the window with a gun. Boy,
You care for
I
your
won't
life.
say anything that'll get me in trouble here, but I'll tell you what. If someone with a gun is giving me a chance to run away, I'm going to have a hard time not running away. Okay? I'll say that. Unless I have someone that I am like actually close with. Random girl I'm asking out on a date. I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Clearly, when fear takes over, maybe I would react differently, but I think there's like a part of me that's like, oh, hell yeah, dying protecting a woman from getting like raped and kidnapped. That's awesome. I'm all in.
Yeah. Well,
Like
I'm glad as you're
means something.
as you're lying on the ground bleeding out and you see them grab Mary Jane and take her into the car, at least you'll be thinking, okay, good. I'm glad I'm dying protecting her.
Right.
So anyway, this guy runs away like he's been called a king and a prince so far. And then, dude, this is like pretty unsettling. I mean, these two guys are like, "Come on, girl, you better get in the car. We're going for a ride. Come on, Strawberry." And
it's definitely striking given how you were calling this new relaunch childish and cartoonish, and it's felt very juvenile.
Well, I don't know.
This is like the most real life evil scenario we've seen.
It kind of is, right? Like Mary Jane is moments away from getting,
Nothing
kidnapped
good.
and probably, much worse stuff happening to her. And she kind of just looks annoyed more than anything. She's like stomping her foot down. She's like, oh.
Well, she's definitely annoyed that the guy runs away.
Oh,
she
yeah,
kind of rolls
that's
her
true.
eyes at
and
him.
then she kind of looks scared. So anyway, she's about to, be grabbed and thrown into this car, and then our hero of the run comes out, this Assassin's Creed guy. He jumps on the car, and he smashes it up, and he's like, get out of here, and Mary Jane goes and runs and hides behind something, and he beats up the guys, and we get a little more insight into what he's like, what type of a person he is, because he pretty obviously gets shot 3 times square in the face, and the bullets just seem to bounce off of him and do nothing. I also love the way he like glides around, like this panel of him like doing a backflip or something. I want to know what he's made out of.
You get the sense you're watching someone who's really like stealthy, and these are like silky smooth movements.
Yeah. And he beats the guys up, and he says, and scene. And I'm getting, everything that we see about him, we get some insights into who he is, because we said before, everyone's quipping in this universe. Everyone's a quipster. And now these are more quips. Now he's even a thespian of some kind. So, I don't know. Could this guy be related to Mysterio and his like movie holographic effects in some way? Interesting. Probably not. But then then he says, you piece of crap, this is the best thing you can do with your lives. And here's our real clue. Because this is something Spider-Man says a lot to criminals. And he's quipping. And then he talks to Mary Jane. And she's like, you sound like you're our age. Do you go to my school? Zach. I'm going to guess, this is probably wrong, but I'm going to guess that this is one of the Peter Parker clones that we have that are running around New York. Because he is very acrobatic, and he is making jokes. And Mary Jane's like, you sound like you're our age. And he's saying some of the similar things that we hear Peter say to criminals. So I think that there's a chance that this is a clone.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
As far as we know, there's only one that survived, but that does, that could be the one. You don't know, or there could be others.
I was thinking, this could be Jessica Drew. We don't know for certain that it's not.
We haven't seen her in a minute to verify that she's still in her same suit.
It also could be some other character, some other Spider-Man that's been mixed with like a cobalt man of some sort.
Dollar store Iron Man.
Yeah. So anyway, Assassin's Creed guy is like, you need to go home, and he and Mary Jane are also quipping back and forth a little bit, and he's like, you're welcome. And she's like, I didn't even say or she's like, I said thank you. And he's like, no, you didn't. And she's like, oh, wait, yeah, I didn't. Okay, well, thank you. And then he kind of disappears before she can really find out who he is or what to call her. So
one random thing. So
Yeah.
this takes place at the mall, right? And in the fight, the gangster's car like careened into a light pole and is kind of split down the middle, with this light pole in it. And I only mention this because, like, what was it? 2 days ago? Yesterday? I don't know. I was at the mall, and I swear, people have forgotten how to drive. Someone went over the sidewalk and was like barreling towards the mall, and they have like a stone block out front to protect, the stores and stuff. And they crashed their car into that stone block, and it was getting towed, and there was cops everywhere. I only saw the aftermath. I walked by the car, that was wrapped around this stone block. This just kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah. Well, that reminded me of something. So I was at bowling probably like a year ago at this point, and as I'm just walking up, you know how like every bowling alley has a putt-putt course attached to it.
Sure, every good
and it's
one.
Like gated, kind of. And as I'm just walking up, I'm kind of like at my car that's in the back of the parking lot, so I'm pretty far away from the thing, not like super far, half a football field or something. And as I'm walking, this car is just driving down the lane like close to the bowling alley, and it just it just keeps driving, and it just goes square into the fence of the mini golf thing, right up onto the mini golf course. And I was just watching it happen, and I'm like, what just happened? Was that supposed to happen? What did they just do? Like, there was like no braking involved. There was no like loss of control. It was just like, and it was just insane, man.
Did you figure out what the deal was? Were they drunk or something?
Oh, I don't know. Guy got into a car accident on the mini golf course. I went in and bowled.
John, that's what I love about you. You are locked in. All ball. Literally nothing could phase you when you show up to bowl.
I went in and I was like, you guys will never believe what just happened. A car just drove straight into the mini golf course. And we went out and we looked at it for a minute, and there it was in the mini golf course on like hole 16 or something. And then we just walked back in.
Huh. Okay. Well, Let's get this dub.
Yep.
Yeah.
We actually did win. We actually did win the championship of our bowling league. Just this last Wednesday was the championship week. It was our second win as a team, but it was our first one in a while, so it felt pretty good.
Nice.
I'm getting pretty good at bowling, Zach.
I kind of thought you already were.
I'm getting better.
Well,
yeah.
There you go. Maybe it wasn't such a shitty week.
That's true. Yeah, you're so positive. Okay, so we're back at the Parker household, and they're kind of all eating dinner. They're eating pizza. They're asking Johnny Storm how all this happened, and he's like, "I just didn't want to live in New York City anymore. I'm too young to live on my own. I needed somewhere to live." And he's like, "I just thought I'd come and live here with you." And he's like, "And maybe I'll even start going to your school." And he's like, Peter's like, "Okay, dude, you can't come and live. Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four cannot live in my house and start going to my school. That's going to raise some questions." And Johnny Storm says he's going to do the Peter Parker thing, and he's going to dye his hair and have like a secret identity and all that stuff. And he's like, and Johnny Storm's like, "Do you not want me to live here?" And Peter's like, "No, I just have questions. If I came to live with you, you'd have questions, right?" And Johnny Storm's like, "Yeah, but I'd be totally psyched." And Peter's like, "Definitely." And then they do some little rocket power handshake where they're like, "Woogity, woogity, woogity," or something. It's pretty silly.
They're such boyfriends.
I never really knew that they were supposed to have this type of like best friend who never see each other relationship. Like, I didn't know that that's what their relationship was.
Yeah.
But in this, it seems like that is what it is supposed to be.
There are two things here that I was a little surprised by. First of all, they're like, Johnny Storm can't just show up at Midtown High, and it's like, why not?
Johnny Storm's done that.
Yeah, he attended.
But he can't just show up living with the Parkers.
Yeah. I get that. Well, yeah.
Because now we've got like dead girl Gwen Stacy who's living with the Parkers. Johnny Storm's living with the Parkers. The Parkers' house keeps getting destroyed by spider stuff. Man, everyone's being pretty willfully like ignorant at this point.
Exactly. So, there's no harm in it. They should already know by now.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, does he say, "I'll start dyeing my hair, you do it," to Peter? Does he imply that Peter dyes his hair?
Let me read. Why not you do it works for you. Okay, interesting.
Or is he talking about having a secret?
Exactly. Memory? This could really be read two different ways because he could be responding to either thing that Peter says, like, really you'll dye your hair or really you'll get a secret identity? And Johnny Storm says, why not you do it? It works for you. So he could be talking about dyeing his hair. I read it as he's talking about his secret identity, but that is funny.
Okay. I think you're probably right, but that's how I saw it the first time. And I was like, wait, the last thing they mentioned was dyeing your hair. And then he says, you do it. But he's probably talking about just...
It would have been funny if Peter said, like, I don't dye my hair.
Yeah, that would have been a good quip back at that.
Okay, so it's decided. Johnny Storm's moving in. Aunt May says she's going to add him to the chore wheel. And then Peter says, oh, now there will be a third less chores for us. And I took out my math notebook here because I had to calculate this. Because, Zach, if, one, I'm going to say Peter's right. And I'll explain both ways. But the first thing I thought of, I was like, wait a second. If Peter and Gwen are each doing 50% of chores, and then they're going to do 33% of chores, that's 17% less, not 33% less. Okay? But, so that's what I went to bed last night thinking. I was like, oh, I got him. And then I woke up this morning and I was getting ready. And if Peter and Gwen are doing 50%, and then they're going down to 33%, that is a 17% difference out of 100. But out of 50%, which is what they're doing, that 17% is a third. So they actually are doing a third less chores than they would be doing before, because they were going from 50% to 33%, and 17 is 33% of 50. So, gosh darn it, Peter Parker, you got your math right, and I thought I got him. Anyway.
You come with the boy genius, you best not miss.
I know. Well, and right away when I was like, that math's not right, I was like, why would they make Peter not get his math right? So I was actually kind of happy this morning when I was like, oh, he did. I was doing it wrong. Anywho. So now we're back at Midtown High the next day. And MJ walks up to talk to Peter. And Peter has just the goofiest looking 90s jeans on you've ever seen in your life. They're hilarious. And they're even funnier on the next page when you look at them. And MJ walks up to him, and she's all timid like she is in this run now. She's like, everything she said, she's got her head down. She doesn't talk with her head up anymore.
Oh my God, you know who she reminds me of right now?
Me in high school?
Amy Adams' character in Talladega Nights.
Why is that?
Can you picture what I'm talking about? She's like his assistant, and
oh yeah,
she's like scared like of every room that she's in until the very end when they like start dating and she gets confident or whatever.
Yeah. Sorry, all of my cats are normal. I have to try and de-stress baby Billy. So if any of the cats are being mean to him, I've got to go and, keep an eye and make sure we can't stress out baby Billy. Okay.
That's so funny. I do this same thing with Jubilee.
Because otherwise I'll have a $500 vet bill because his pee is poop if he gets too stressed out. Okay. So MJ says, I met another superhero. And Peter's like, what? And the way she says this, it does sound like she's saying, like, I met another superhero,
I didn't take it that way for a second.
Oh,
but then I reread it and I thought, oh, okay, that's how.
Right when I read that line, I was like, oh, Peter's going to think that she's like dating another superhero. And he does. She's like, I was at the mall. I was almost kidnapped. And he's like, what happened? And he's like, I almost kidnapped, and then this guy came in and saved me. And Peter's like, oh, okay. So you saw another superhero. You're not seeing another superhero. And she's like, what? And Peter's like, you said you were seeing another superhero. And no, that's not what she said, Peter. She said she met another superhero.
Yeah.
He's going crazy, man.
He is. He needs some sleep.
And MJ's like, what are you even talking about? It is kind of hard. Yeah, he does need some sleep.
She doesn't understand how he got to that point.
Yeah, exactly. They're like having two completely different conversations.
That is fun.
And she's like, okay, I was about to get kidnapped, and then this guy in a red cloak showed up, and he saved me, and then he disappeared. And Mary Jane's pretty freaked out about what happened last night. And, she kind of starts crying. She's like, I'm so stupid. I never should have broken up with you. I don't even know why I did. And now we're not even friends. And Gwen kind of hears her. And Gwen comes over. And she's like, you don't want to do this here. Let's go into the girls' room. And it's so sweet.
So I can
like
beat your ass.
No, she's like, Gwen just gets it. Gwen is a keeper, and she is probably more emotionally mature than Mary Jane is. Can we agree on that?
100 issues ago, you would have never thought you would have said that.
Well, it's been a long time. Gwen has emotionally matured.
Yeah.
MJ has not. She's stuck in Arrested Development.
It's sad. You hate to see it, but... You're right. I mean, she's even regressed at this point. I mean, she just seems like something absolutely hit her confidence.
I know. We need to. I hope that and she is like, I should have never broken up with you. And Peter's still like, I don't even know why we broke up. Right? He said that earlier in the issue. So it would be nice if they would give us some context of like what happened with Mary Jane, why she has done all this stuff after Ultimatum. I don't know. I feel kind of bad for her, and that's probably not what she wants. Even though Gwen's being really cool, you probably don't really want your ex-boyfriend's like new girlfriend to be like, oh, sweetie, it's going to be okay. All right. We're all still friends.
Yeah. But it's nice of Gwen to offer. The reason I hate this so much for MJ is because it doesn't feel like there actually is a cause behind it. It just feels like they need her to be the nerdy girl now.
Yeah.
They've reduced everyone into like kind of stereotypes. Gwen is like the alt girl. Kitty is like the normal girl, and then Mary Jane has to be the nerdy girl. And I think that's reductive to all of them.
Yeah. So then Flash overhears, and he's like, wait a second, are you guys actually fighting over him? And then all three of them like turn around at the same time and just scream, F off, Flash. And it's pretty funny how it's drawn. It's just like all of their heads like radiating, yelling at Flash. And he's like, okay, whatever, peace out. And he walks away with his hand around a girl.
I like how this is what Flash has just turned into. This is just his character. He shows up every once in a while to say something shitty and get yelled at.
Yeah.
And it's
awesome.
Always funny.
It is. So as they're kind of making up this group, MJ's like, you guys aren't even friends with me anymore. And Gwen's like, you freaked out on us. You stopped hanging out with us. And then right as they're saying that, Jessica Jones runs up with her video camera and she's like, MJ, we gotta go. Everyone's favorite character, the Hulk, is destroying New York, which never happens. This is a huge story.
Story of the century.
We're going to win an award for sure, or something like that.
This is actually a good touch, because she doesn't say New York. She says he's trashing the Queensboro Bridge. And Peter says, again? Because we just got that flashback issue of them fighting on the bridge.
It does seem like listening to this, it's like, dude, when are they just going to put Bruce Banner down? How's this guy keep getting out? Like,
I thought you were going to say, when is Bruce Banner just going to enroll in Midtown High? What if they walked in one day and they're like, everyone say hello to the new chemistry teacher, and the fucking Hulk turns around?
Next time we go to the Parker house, We're gonna open the door, and Aunt May's gonna be like, "Guess who's moving in? It's the Hulk."
Hijinks ensue.
Okay, so Jessica Jones and MJ, apparently they're gonna go like just run off, kind of to go film this, and Spider-Man's like, "Okay, I gotta go," and he goes and swings off. So obviously he gets there first, and he sees the chaos on the Brooklyn Bridge, and he comes, whatever.
Why would that be the Brooklyn Bridge if they live in Queens?
I don't know. You're right. When you're right, you're right. The Queensboro Bridge. And he comes face to face with the towering Hulk. And he's like, "Hulk, smash." And Peter's like, "Just for once, dude, break the cycle. Don't smash everything." And the Hulk smashes everything. And Peter goes tumbling away. He says, "Fight the cliche." And Peter goes tumbling away. And he's trying to web up the Hulk. But he's like, "This is weird. The webs are going through him." And boom, Peter should know what's going on. You're a smart guy, Peter. You should remember this from the spiders that you just fought, that the things were going through. But he doesn't. Instead, he's like, "Okay, I got to go kick him, I guess, if these don't work." And he goes to kick him, but he phases right through the Hulk into a huge explosion. And we see Mysterio standing above him as Peter's like face is all exploded. And it actually looks a lot like that scene from the Tobey Maguire movie where the pumpkin bomb like blows his face half to hell. And
I was thinking the same thing.
I think it had to have supposed to have looked like that. Like, it's like very, very reminiscent of it.
Well, I mean, there's always been drawings of like Spider-Man in a fight where he's way over his head and his mask starts ripping and stuff. That's kind of a trope.
Yeah. And Mysterio standing above him and says, "Gotcha." And this is not a good spot for Spider-Man to be in.
You know what? I'm just going to say it, though. If that had been the real Hulk and his plan had been to run up and kick him in the shin, I think he would be worse off than he is right now. That was a bad plan of attack.
Yeah. I have a plan. Attack.
Yeah, that doesn't work against the Hulk.
Okay. So, let's try to figure out who Mysterio is. He's holding like a little rosary in his arm or something.
Yeah, seems like it.
Is that what that is, do you think? Or are these like, I don't know, beads that somehow work his hologram?
I guess we'll find out. Is that your working theory? Or do you think he's Catholic?
Well, rosaries you don't really wear. That's generally not what you do with a rosary. You would hold it. You hold them. So I guess he could be holding them. It's not really how it's drawn. But there's also, if it were a rosary, there'd probably be a more distinct cross on the end. But this definitely looks like a rosary. There's like the decades. So I don't know. He could be Catholic. Maybe it's Matt Murdock.
Ooh, wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't make a lick of sense, but it'd be ultimate.
We'd all clap when he walked in.
Yeah, and he'd be played by Robert Downey Jr.
That'd be awesome. What'd you think? It was okay. These are kind of fun. They're not bad.
I think it's picking up. I think your issue was better than mine.
Yeah.
I mean, it had the Hulk. How can we lose?
I know. That's what I was thinking. And I like the mystery of this cloak guy. I'm kind of excited to learn more about him. Probably the biggest things I don't care about in this run so far are Johnny Storm, like, moving in. I just think that's so stupid. Like, I don't know.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. Okay. Was this before or after the Spider-Man and Friends? What's the Spider-Man and Friends?
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. That was like from 1980.
And that's him, Johnny Storm, and Bobby.
No, it's him, Iceman, and Firestar, which is...
Oh, so Johnny Storm's not even in that?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
But I think that might have been because of, like, rights issues, you know, because Marvel properties have always been kind of split up with their rights for film and television. But in the comics, you know, Johnny Storm's always been, like, his bro.
Yeah.
More so than Iceman or, you know, any other dude.
Okay. Well, next week, it looks like Spider-Man's going through an illusion of some kind, and it's called a Web of Illusion.
It's an illusion, Michael.
I just can't stress enough how much more I'd like Mysterio if he just looked not so like he's trying to be like cool, you know?
Yeah.
It's like when you were a kid and you'd make like a gamer tag and someone would be like Beast Hunter 32 or something, or like, I don't know. What other things am I trying to think of? Can you think of like do you know what I'm saying?
XX
like,
the Captain XX.
Yeah.
It's
Mega Killer 14. Yeah. It's just
I just kept the one that Xbox generated for me, and so for years I was embodied Ant 7.
See, that's awesome. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Was it Ant A-N-T or A-U-N-T?
A-N-T.
Okay. Okay, so let's do this one out of what do you think? Out of like hair
Hulk
dyes?
appearances.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The last few months.
We haven't gotten enough of them. I'll give it a 6.5 again.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10
Okay.
Hulk appearances.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm getting more bought in with your issue than I was from the first 3.
Okay.
There's still not much to say about the new status quo. You know, we're still having it take shape.
Yeah.
And there definitely wasn't any like questionable creative decisions like on mine where I felt like an entire scene was just split up for no reason.
I think the most questionable creative decision we're getting now is just what's happening with Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Why is this all happening?
Yeah.
And hopefully we find out. Maybe
Hopefully.
she's going through some stuff. It's
Or
not
if not,
illegal. Okay.
She can just go back to being our best girl, and we just ignore whatever weird.
So what? We're
thing
just
is
supposed
going
to
on.
dump Gwen Stacy now?
Well, no, I'm just saying.
We
go
can't
back
keep
to,
breaking these hearts, Zach. Eventually, Peter's got to pick a girl and stick with it.
He absolutely should. I'm not saying necessarily he needs to end up with Mary Jane. I'm just saying let Mary Jane be Mary Jane again. Stop with the Lois Laneification of Mary Jane Watson.
I agree. She's Mary Jane, not Mary Lane.
Is Mary Lane a reporter?
No, it's just like kind of combining like Lois Lane and
Oh yeah,
Mary Jane,
I got you.
Okay. All right, good stuff.
Cool. Yeah. Got anything else on Spider-Man?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Okay. What else do we have? You got anything else fun going on this week?
Not really.
Oh, I didn't watch Eve of Evangelion. Or God bless America, man. Sorry. I just spent so much time cleaning up pee this week, Zach. Every second I've been home, I've been cleaning the house.
That's cool.
It's very cool. Yes.
I'm about to finish my second watch of the show, but yeah.
I don't think I do have anything else. I will say Agatha All Along sort of was picking up there in the most recent episode to the point where it's like, okay, this was fine. Now this is I'm interested in what's going to happen next, right? Not only
That's
is
so
it
funny.
fine, but I'm also excited for the next episode to come out.
That's
It's
good.
still not good, but
Yeah.
it's still fine.
I was at a concert this week and I overheard someone having a conversation. They were like, "Oh my God, are you watching Agatha All Along? I need help with it. I'm not nerdy enough to understand what's going on, but I love it."
Yeah, my sister loves it. So, because she's a witch, and I'm like, I just don't. I'm just not really that into it. And she's like, because you're not a witch. I'm like, I guess you're right.
I correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the premise behind it is the MCU needed their own Hocus Pocus.
Yeah. I've never seen that movie.
You're not missing anything.
That's funny because I know it's like everyone's favorite like Halloween movie, and I'm like, it just doesn't look good to me. But I'm not a witch.
Yeah, that's it.
So let's see. Agatha is doing her thing, and I still haven't seen The Penguin, and I haven't seen Eve of whatever.
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Evangelion. Yep. I can't ever remember what that's called.
Yeah.
But there is a new Nick Cage movie that I really want to see.
Is it
Daddy Longlegs or something? Or
okay.
Mr. Long. It might just be called Longlegs.
I can't remember. Did you ever end up seeing the one where he plays a version of himself?
Yes, I did. Unspeakably good at acting or have massive talent or something. Yes, I did. And it's pretty good.
The unbearable weight of being awesomely Nick Cage.
Yeah. It's got Pedro Pascal in it also. Yeah, I watched it a couple weeks ago. It's pretty good. There are some really funny parts in it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that movie.
Oh, you've seen it?
Oh yeah.
There's the one part where they're like on acid and they're like out eating somewhere and they're like, I think that guy's watching us or something. and they're like, just look at him like slyly or something. And Pedro Pascal like turns his head and just starts like laughing hysterically, like looking at him. Oh my God. It just was cracking me up.
That was the kind of movie you could tell they had a lot of fun filming.
Oh, I'm sure. And I bet
it didn't feel like a job.
Well, and it's also, I'm sure that you got this also, but anytime they're like talking about the movie, they're talking about the movie that they're in, right? Like, so they're kind of like explaining how the movie's going to go and the type of movie that it is, like really early on even. And I kind of love stuff like that. I'm a sucker for meta stuff.
Yes, it's very Scream.
Yeah, I guess like meta is that?
Yeah. Well, you know how Scream is like a slasher movie about slasher movies.
It's like a commentary on slasher movies.
Yes, to the point where even like the characters know it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's worth watching. I'm glad you've seen it too.
Yeah. I didn't end up seeing Megalopolis, unfortunately. I had the choice between...
Oh, no, Zach, I've heard not very good things about it.
I know, and you know what? They're not deterring me. I am dedicated to the bit that I haven't seen Megalopolis. I'm the number one Megalopolis fan. Everyone who says it's a bad movie just doesn't get it, and I can't wait to see it and be vindicated.
And you told me that's also your opinion on Joker 2, Folie à Deux.
Did I say that?
Everyone who's seen it is wrong, and it's actually awesome, you think?
I don't remember saying that, but you know what? I will... I'll put my chips in. Okay.
Never seen
if you don't like Megalopolis and Folie à Deux.
Folie à Deux. No, I still haven't seen it, but I've heard all about it, and apparently it's not getting much love.
Yeah. Well,
maybe
in
eventually
character's an
one of us will
architect.
watch it.
So.
Oh, in Megalopolis? I thought we were talking about Joker too. I'm sure both are great.
I bet at least one of them will be a cult classic in 20 years. People will say, why didn't people like this?
And I bet it's Joker Trois, Folie à Deux. What else you got? Anything?
Not that I can think of, man.
Okay.
You want to do trivia?
It's Spider-Man trivia time. Ding. Oh, I think I went over 3 last week.
Yeah. Some of these are like very easy. It's like, who created Spider-Man? And then other ones are like, what's Tobey Maguire's favorite car? Or some dumb shit.
What's his favorite ice cream? Well, everyone knows that's pistachio chocolate chip.
And you're a fake Spidey fan if you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm skipping some of these. Okay. Okay. This is not the question they asked. Their question is true or false. There's no Mary Jane Watson in Garfield's 2 Spider-Man films. We obviously know that's true. But I will ask a different question based
Is there a Mary Jane in the background somewhere in any of those films?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you know who was supposed to be Mary Jane? And she got cut. She filmed scenes, but they cut her out of it.
I do know this. I've heard this. I've heard this before.
This is actually very interesting to me, and I didn't know this.
Who was supposed to be Mary Jane Watson? Okay, let's see. I'm thinking. I'm not looking it up.
You're not cheating. How about this?
I don't know. I don't know.
I
wasn't actually going to look it up. I don't know.
She's very pretty. She's maybe a crazy person. She famously
could have been any woman if you ask me, Zach.
She famously dated a man who's like maybe 10 years older than her, who's also a crazy person.
I just don't know.
Okay.
Who is it?
She had a secret life.
With Zach and Cody?
No, that's the Sweet Life.
Oh. She had a secret life. Did she have a secret garden with Johnny Depp and John Turturro?
No. Secret Life of an American Teenager. It's Shailene Woodley.
I don't even know who that is. But that's it. Doesn't she have some? Didn't she have something to do with like the Manson stuff? Was she like the main character in that movie?
No,
where she played one of the Manson people. Maybe.
No. I think you're thinking of Victoria Progetti or whatever her name is from You. No, Shailene Woodley was engaged to Aaron Rodgers.
Really?
Yeah, it's this girl.
I'm looking her up. Why do I know this name?
She's very famous.
I don't recognize her at all.
Seriously?
So look at that. She was in deleted scenes.
That's what I'm saying. She filmed scenes that then didn't get made into the movie. I would have loved to have seen that.
You're right. She's not the person from the Manson murders. In case we were all wondering that. Sharon Tate. I'm sorry. That's who I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
Is this really disrespectful? Am I being kind of disrespectful right now? Okay, sorry if I am.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think you said anything bad about her. She was killed by the Manson people.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get that one.
Okay. I got to ask this one just because it's such a bad question. What Peter Parker-like thing did Garfield do during his screen test?
He put on a Spider-Man costume.
No, he ate a cheeseburger. I mean, this sounds ridiculous, but it's true, director Mark Webb told Yahoo. We were doing a scene that's not in the movie where he was eating a cheeseburger and telling Gwen to, like, calm down or trying to put her at ease. I feel like there's something in the way he embodied and committed to that really tiny minutia that I just hadn't seen before.
What an absolute madman. He ate a cheeseburger at an audition.
My God, this is Spider-Man.
Now this is cinema.
I think that says more about Mark Webb as a director than it does Andrew Garfield, an actor.
Andrew Garfield had a scene where he was supposed to eat a cheeseburger, and he ate one, and Mark Webb was like, I've got to cast this guy.
By God, I've never seen anyone eat a cheeseburger like this guy before.
He's just like moshing on it with his mouth open, the little specks flying out of his mouth. It's like, this guy embodies a 15-year-old kid.
My God, man, what are you doing being an actor? You have a real gift for eating cheeseburgers. Okay, last one. Another dumb question.
0 for 2 again.
Yeah. Who played J. Jonah Jameson in Garfield's 2 Amazing Spider-Man films?
J. Jonah Jameson isn't in those films. You just see emails from him where he's like, wrong.
You're absolutely right.
Let's go.
I guess J.K. Simmons told them, hey, I'd be interested in coming back if you guys want to use me. And they were like, no, I don't think we need to.
What a f***ing fumble, dude.
Those movies...
It is really funny. I do like the scene. I do like that they don't show J. Jonah Jameson. They just show the emails from him because it is kind of funny. But I only liked that thinking I'm glad they didn't recast him. If you could have got J.K. Simmons back, why are you not bringing him back?
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the most perfect comic book castings of all time. And I think the only one who actually likes playing their character. Like, I think he would be content being J. Jonah Jameson the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a dumb question. And those movies, that just goes
That was
to
not
show...
a dumb question. That's a good trivia question because I got it right.
There was so much potential with those. I mean, I think the casting was fine. I think they looked great. You know, whoever did the design.
And remember that scene where he found all the coins in his calculator? That's like Spider-Man right there.
Just have a different writer and have a different director. And I think those would have been the best Spider-Man movies we would have gotten.
They probably could have been. Paul Giamatti was in little boxers with hearts on them. Okay, is that it?
I think that's it. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right.
Let's all hope that my bets do well this week and my cat is healthy and that Zach's house, everything gets fixed.
Nothing else happens. It doesn't fall into a sinkhole or get struck by lightning.
Hopefully not. Thank you to
Wait,
Ian.
hold on.
Okay,
you got a jam of the week?
Oh, of course I do. It's What's My Age Again by Blink-182. Or no, not that. What is it?
All the Small
Things by Blink-182.
You're the biggest Blink-182 fan. You just couldn't decide which one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's sad? I remember listening to What's My Age Again well before being 22 or 23 years old, whatever. And now I'm so much older than that. That's what I mean when I say the passage of time is crazy.
Yeah. Imagine how they feel being men in their 50s playing those songs.
You're right. That's wild.
Like, they're just up there doing their bits, you know, still talking about, like, you know, masturbation jokes and whatever. And then they, like, get off the stage and their backs hurt and they're just, like, normal dudes. And they're like, why did this have to be our thing?
Speaking of masturbation jokes, look at that. If anybody thought we were done and they turned it off, what a mistake. One of the kids at school has been telling jokes that he's been like masturbating just at the school in the bathroom. They went to Washington, D.C., in the Holocaust Museum, in the African American Museum, in the Museum of Natural History, whatever, right? This is just a joke he's telling. And it's just pretty funny. Not the joke, but that it's a real thing that's happening right now.
The joke is not funny.
It's so not funny.
It's funny that he thinks he's being funny.
And of course, as like one of like the 3 male teachers in the building, somehow like anytime something happens, I am like, they're like, you've got to talk to him about it. And I'm like, okay, like whatever. I'm like, buddy, why are you telling jokes about masturbating in museums? That's pretty disrespectful, you know.
Knock it off.
It reminded me of the Seinfeld episode where they're like, he was making out during Schindler's List.
Oh.
And it's like he was masturbating in the Holocaust Museum. I just think that's awesome.
The thing that makes this situation actually funny is the fact that you work at a Catholic school.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the billboard that's apparently a real thing on the internet, that where they say, have a masturbation addiction, Jesus can help you beat it.
Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah.
One of the I don't know. I don't want to like say too much to where I could like get, myself or other teachers in trouble or anything. But I was talking with another teacher and the vice principal about it, who's also a male, and he's like, well, blank person is going through, they're in 8th grade, and I'm sure John can, testament to feelings of being an 8th grade boy. And I go, whoa.
You're like, what did I do?
I just wanted on record that when I went here, because I went to the same school I'm teaching at, when I went here, I was not masturbating in the bathrooms at school. Okay, can we get that on record?
It was one time.
Like, I don't know what kind of feelings are going on, but I was not doing that.
That's like the scene in Anchorman where the boss, Ed Harkin, keeps getting calls about his badass kid at school, and he's like talking to a nun, and he's like, well, I don't know where he would have gotten a hold of German pornography, but we're both adults, we've seen our fair share of it. Oh, you haven't? Of course not. Me neither. I was speaking in generalities.
What's that from? That's so funny.
Anchorman.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's my favorite bit in that movie. Is every time
the boss,
phone.
The boss from the radio station. Yes, I definitely remember that.
Like, I'm sorry, I have to cut out early. Apparently, my son was on something called acid and was firing a bow and arrow with the marching band.
That's awesome. Okay, so what's your jam of the week?
Okay, my jam of the week. So I got to dedicate this to a webhead, Jacob, good friend of the pod, who's going through a hard time. This is Needles and Pins by the Ramones. It's one of his favorite songs.
Okay, I love it. Well, I hope he's doing better. Sounds like he's having a Parker week also.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on around here, but it's got to get better, Yeah. I mean, right?
Sure.
We hope.
Sure. By next week, I bet you and Shala will be back in your house, gas-free, and baby Billy will be eating his food and not peeing all over stuff. And Jacob will be doing better too. I'm putting it in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Well, surely anyone that we didn't lose before, we've now lost after the masturbation talk. But if not, thank you so much to Ian Hickey for the music and Alyssa Seaman for the artwork. And thank you, Alyssa Seaman. I'll tell you what, it's never been more, it's never been more prescient, huh, Zach?
He hates that.
I'm sure she hates
so
it.
Bad
I'm
growing
sure.
up.
I'm sorry that I even said it. And thank you all for listening and leaving us a review or a comment. You can find us the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast on Spotify or Apple Music or anywhere else you find podcasts. And you can leave us a message on Instagram at First Read Podcast. Send us an email at firstreadspidey@gmail.com or find us on YouTube, First Read Ultimate Spider-Man Podcast. See you next week, Zach.
See ya.